Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As always, thank you so much for tuning in today. I have a really heavy one and you probably saw the title and you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is he going to say next? Some people have been messaging me, asking me if I'm okay. I'm fine. Oh my God, this is nothing. It's just me it's just me sitting here talking with a cup of tea. I'm fine. I'm fine. Oh my God. Okay, so first things first, let's just get some of the housekeeping out of the way before we can get into the guts in the middle of what I am doing in this video chat today. I've got a cup of tea and first of all, there's just so many corridors I could go down. Then there's so many, rabbit holes that just never end. And then those rabbit holes break into other rabbit holes and it just goes on and on and on. And that's the first thing I will say before I go any further in this video. I don't know everything. I don't have the answers to everything. Okay. The more that I know, the more that I feel that I should know. And so I just do, what I feel. And right now I'm here, I'm with you, I'm holding space for whoever is listening to these videos. And, I just want to say thank you for that. It means a lot to me. Thank you for supporting my channel. And, this is my point of view. It's my perspective and everyone has their point of view and your point of view might not be the same as mine. And that's fantastic because that's what makes life spicy and interesting. And that's what makes it all, it's all subject. It's all relevant, isn't it? So first of all, back to the housekeeping stuff. Shadow work. What is it? I think there's a couple of ways I'm going to attack this video. First of all, I think I'm going to try and give you, a bit of an insight into my relationship with shadow work, my shadow. And then I'm going to look at it from a point of view of like the collective shadow of everyone, like where the world is at kind of thing, or what I got when I channeled this morning. And over the past couple of days, knowing that I was going to do this video was just like the collective, what does the collective need right now? Because what's the point of, telling you something that's already passed or telling you something that's already coming up, but something that's in the current moment right now. So I will be looking at that as well and just giving you my thoughts and my definition on the shadow, on the unconscious, the subconscious mind. And of course, because I am on the left-hand path, it is going to come from a perspective that may be a little bit startling or, unsettling. And it could be some of the words that could come to mind. But that is my truth. And I'm not here to offend anyone or piss anyone off or upset anyone. Not my intention. But by the way, if I do, then that would be shadow work. Gotcha. Because I can sit with someone that I completely disagree with, and I will still hold space for them. And I learn more about myself from someone that is the opposite to me than I do about someone that's just like me. Yeah. That being said, I don't come across that many people that are like me, to be fair. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good week. There is one thing quickly as well I'll quickly touch on. There is a lot of scamming going on at the moment in the spiritual community. There is a lot of impersonators, people setting up fake accounts, pretending to be other accounts. Super boring. Everyone's been messaging me or telling me I got one point last week. I had 5 different accounts. To be honest, this is my point of view on it. I'm not going to stir this up too much. I just don't care. I don't give a fuck. Okay. When you're an original, prepared to be copied. It's already happening to me now. I have people messaging me saying that some of the videos that I've made on my tarot cards or some of the videos I've done recently, other people are now just copying like literally word for what I've said in my video. I just don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't faze me. It's been something that I've had my whole life. And it is what it is. And it is flattering in a way. It's free advertising in a way as well. when it comes to someone copying your account. Obviously it's like, where is it? I mean, I don't know where these people are from. Nigeria, I don't know. Look, this is a reality of the world. Here's some shadow talk right now before we even get into the damn video. Impersonation or identity theft is just a part of reality now in the world. It doesn't matter what. Well, I'm in the spiritual community, or I'm in the tarot community, I'm in whatever the fuck community you're in. Someone out there is going to try and find a way to piggyback off your capital. They're going to try and find a way to copy your art. It has been happening to me since I was at school. And I have some stories about my art where people have copied my art and it's ended up on a billboard. It's ended up on t-shirts. But I put it up on Facebook, and somewhere in Mexico, somewhere in a third world country, somewhere, and even in, first world countries, it's an absolutely lawless world out there, and generally these days, as I've gotten older and I've got more of a brain power about it, I'm more stronger. I will go legal every single time. I will, I would send a cease and desist letters. I would go out, but these days I'm just kind of like, it is what it is. There's a woman out there selling my tarot cards that she's copied and, she's scanned them in and put in a different language. I just don't give a fuck. If you want the real thing and my account and me and you have the time and, you've taken the time to get to know who I am, then you already know that I would never approach someone in a cold call approach and be like, hi, I'm offering you a reading. I don't do remote readings. I just don't. I do face-to-face consultations, yes, but I'm very much inclined to even, I don't offer, and I would never, ever, let's get real. Guys, what professional operation is going to just reach out randomly and try and get your attention? I mean, it's just pathetic. And yeah, it is what it is. It's no different. This might trigger you. Don't give a fuck. This is real talk. It's unapologetic. It's like when you go to a supermarket and there's someone standing in the middle of the aisle or standing in the middle of a walkway and they are desperate. They're trying to get you, your shoelace is untied. They're trying to get your attention and try and trick you, or they'll trip you, or, trying to check out this. The more that you come at someone in that manner, the more that you're going to push them away. That's desperate behavior, and you can smell it, you can feel it, you can see it. It's not coming from a place of authenticity, because if the business was strong enough in itself, it wouldn't need to employ someone to stand on the street and harass people, because it is harassment, all right? Harassing someone is, I have that a lot. I've had it, just by the way, I've had, lots of my fair share of stalkers in my life. Who hasn't? But yeah, it is harassment. And if your product or your brand or your service is enough to stand on its own, you don't need to do down and dirty, sneaky tactics to try and get people in on board with your service. Your service is what it is. It speaks for itself. Okay, so please, no more messages telling me if you're listening and follow me on Instagram. I just don't give a fuck. It's super boring, and it's on you. It's on you. I mean, that's on you. It's not on me. No accountability, because I'm not doing it. Okay, if you want the real thing, you send an email through to info@the Tarot Deck, or you send it through to me via DM. I will respond if it's not too crazy. But yeah. So that was super boring to talk about and just wasted my time. But let's get into the video. What is shadow work? And I think we'll start with the definition for the first part of this, is that I think, first of all, shadow work is a term that is really misunderstood in the psychological community, in the spiritual community, in the self-help community. I think the concept of shadow work in itself is something that people don't really understand, and they kind of run away from. They look at it and go, oh my God, that's scary, that's dark, that's, oh my God, it's even the word shadow. I mean, even the word shadow to people it's already making them feel like that dry swallow in the throat. But of course, if you want a well-balanced, all-rounded, practice, then shadow, it's the only thing you like. Let's get this straight. Every time that you do some form of divination, whether it's through runes or scrying or pendulum swing or tarot cards, you are already doing shadow work. You're already diving into the subconscious mind or the subconscious, or you're merging with energies, you're dipping your toe in the water. You don't know what's under there. It's like the concept of like shadow work is, say you're, swimming in a lake and you're at the top of the lake, I'm going to get onto the subject of that word, top of the lake, in a minute. Oh my God, that's like Freudian slip 101, right? So you're at the top of the lake and you don't know what's underneath you. You don't know how far down that goes. And if you were to drag the bottom of that lake, the subconscious mind, then there could be things under there that you haven't really dealt with. There could be things under there that could come up and resurface. And by the way, they will. The universe at large is only concerned with expansion. It's not like the universe, that book, The Universe Has Your Back. Even the wording of that is just brilliant marketing and straight to the point. The universe is only concerned with your expansion. It's not here for you to have a shithouse time. It wants you to expand because, why? Drum roll. Because you are part of the universe. You are an extension of Source to begin with. So as the universe is growing and expanding, it's expanding its own sense of concept and learning through you, through your expansion, through your eyes. So you're adding to the expansion of the universe. I know some of you are going, what? Like double take? Pause it, go back, re-listen to what I just said. And, I think that if you're following my videos already, you kind of already, I go there. So yes, it is the part of us that we reject. It's the parts of us that, the shadow, the light and the shadow, the shading of something. And it's said, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. And there is definitely some truth in that, particularly around celebrities, particularly around comedians. They use, comedy as deflection. A lot of us, we want to stay away from our pain. We don't want to, we don't want to sit in it, we shouldn't sit in it, by the way. Of course, we should not be sitting in the shadow. We have to balance it out. Sometimes I like to watch stupid movies. Like I'll watch Mean Girls, I'll watch White Chicks, I'll hang out and, watch something ridiculous and absolutely insane. Because I can't be, this hard ass and live in this hardcore, mindset. I just do it when I'm doing these videos. Like you're just seeing that part of me in these videos. And so it is the parts of us that we deny, deflect, disown, abandon. And because we are relatively, as a human consciousness, when we grow up, we are dependent on others. And so the biggest thing that shadow is for most people is that you grow up into a family or a society where you feel completely misunderstood, completely non-wanted, completely abandoned, basically, in so many ways. And we're dependent on others. And so we want them to see the best parts of us, but we kind of modify ourselves for other people from birth because we want our parents to love us and we want them to want us. And I think we're kind of hardwired that way to want people to want us because that's that tribal thing. We're hungry for tribe. We're hungry to be seen. We're hungry for connection. So we say, for example, your mother didn't like, I'll give you a straight up example in my life. I used to draw like weird shit. And my mum would look at that and go, that's a bit dark. That's no, that's not right. That's not right. You should be drawing this. Draw this pretty bird out on the, on out there, little bluebird or something. I'd be like, but I don't want to. But because I want her approval, I would modify what I would like to draw or who I am, what I'm attracted to drawing, my aesthetic to match her aesthetic. So she integrates me to get me, to give me that love, to give me that attention. And that's kind of how it is for a lot of us. So, we have to kind of, and if you're already on this path and you're in spirituality, I mean, it's highly probable that you probably weren't understood. You probably had to, be a bit of a smooth operator. Just goes without saying. So yeah, back to the fundamental basics. I don't want to dwell on this too much where it's like, this is shadow work. And I'll just read off Google like most people do on YouTube. Because the last bloody thing that a video needs is someone just to say, well, shadow work was developed by Carl Jung and it was a Freudian thing and it was about, blah, blah, blah. So let's get over the basics. So because I'm trying to give you my point of view, but make it relatively entertaining and relatively, straight to the point, like an arrow, bang. That's Sagittarian part of me, by the way, and the Scorpio stinger. It's gonna get you. So it's about being consciously aware. So we see light as consciousness, right? And so being consciously aware of something that's in the dark. So when we bring something out of the dark, we're bringing it into the light, we're making it conscious because we're becoming consciously aware of the unconscious. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, it is the essence of the bringing something out of a place that we haven't looked yet, and we need to look there because we haven't looked there yet. That's where the answers are. Answers don't just lounge around and everything's nice and easy breezy. The harder the problem, the more mind power is required to solve the equation, if that makes sense. Oh my God, I hope that makes sense. So it's about exposing the parts of us and bringing them out and working with that and not rejecting it and not coming from a place of judgment, just seeing that, I have these parts of me that came from my childhood. By the way, but for the record, a lot of our shadow work comes from our childhood because it was like so primal, so real. So your first love, your first rejection, your first hate, your first, it's such a raw time. And of course, a lot of things can go wrong and the parenting may not have been the best, which it probably wasn't. And you've had a lot of, maybe there was some sexual abuse. Maybe one of the things with shadow, this is the interesting thing, which I believe in, the human consciousness is so incredible. It can fragment itself into parts that to kind of protect itself. So this has been said that, say, for someone who's gone through a lot of trauma, like I have, or I won't go into it in this video, but people that have gone through extreme trauma, it's almost like their personality or their soul kind of splits. A little bit like Harry Potter and like the Horcruxing thing, where it's like it can't sustain the injury that you're going through right now without shutting down. So it's like your higher self puts that part of you on hold or puts it in somewhere else inside of you to allow you to survive. Because you're in survival mode a lot of the time. I have been in survival mode right up to my late 20s. And I still am in a lot of ways. I'm still not running, but I'm still like, how am I going to get my needs met? How do I stay alive? When's this person going to betray me? What does this person want from me? Are they really my friend? Like, I have that because I've been in a place where everyone has betrayed me or fucked me around. So I had to go on the defense and have a good offense. And that's when I turned into the dark arts and, magic and shit like that, because it enables me to become more powerful. So in order to want power, you have to have lack of power. And just on the record, by the way, it's been said, and I feel that a lot of people that come from a place of fragmentation will seek more power in their life to compensate and to make them feel safe. But anyway, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, except unless you're, of course, inflicting pain and hurting other people, because unchecked shadow just goes around vomiting and bleeding all over everyone else. The whole hurt people. So this stuff I feel like is so 101 human stuff. It should really just be fucking taught in primary school, but it's not. So I decided I'm going to be working on my kids' book. Yay. Fucking hell, someone has to do it. Yes, I'm doing a kids' book on shadow work. Yes, I'm doing a kids' book on fragmentation. It's called The Boy Who Lived Inside a Volcano, which I'm currently working on right now. And I hope to have the book out by the end of the year. So it'll be a very, very hardcore book, but in a conscious way. Anyway, I digress. And I know I'm going a little bit off in a tangent. Oh, well. I tend to do that quite a bit. So the thing is, I would say once you know the shadow and you go through it, you look at it, you understand it, you're able to heal it. You're able to take it in as a part of yourself. Okay, so, and that's what it is. Now, here's the tricky part, because we're ready to get heavy? All right. As a collective consciousness, we're all mirrors of each other, reflecting back at each other. You're like, what? No, we really are. So I'll say this. All right, let's get real. I'm going to give you a bit about me. 10 years ago was my last relationship, and that person physically attacked me while I was sleeping and nearly killed me. Like, for real, for real. So I had to, fight or flight. I had to get out of that situation very quickly. It was very unexpected, and it changed the course of my whole life forever. Like, I've gone off in a completely different tangent. Had that trauma not have happened to me, I wouldn't even be probably doing these videos. I wouldn't have gone back into my spirituality. I wouldn't have gone back into my portrait art and done the Archibald Prize, and I wouldn't have done all of these things. By the way, I know this is going to sound hardcore to hear, and I know I'm talking really fast because I'm getting a lot of information coming through right now. The point of life is trauma. If you haven't figured that out, you need to check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, yeah? Trauma creates expansion. It would serve you no purpose to come here and have the human experience and not go through trauma. Everyone goes through trauma. You're not getting off the hook of it. We have to break down to break through. Trauma creates expansion. That's when I meet someone and they haven't gone through any form of trauma. Whoa, to me, that's unworkable. Like, bye. Okay, that's crazy. It doesn't work like that, yeah? So yeah, the more trauma you go through, in some ways, you will become stronger, smarter, wiser, blah, blah, blah. Or you can take it into the shadow part of it where you become the trauma and then you hurt other people. Yeah, hope that made sense. Oh my God. And of course, shadow work comes in so many ways as well. So I had to go back to that thing quickly. I had to, I laid in bed suicidal for 2 weeks straight, and I was trying to pull myself together and, and so this is the thing I'm skipping ahead. I do apologize. Rewind. So when someone hurts you or someone bashes you, abuses you, rapes you, it's not like I can just go to that person and say, hey, remember that time that you raped me? What did that mean for you? Because this is what it meant for me. Can you just tell me why you did that so it can fill in the blanks and I'll be okay now? My Valley Girl accent, oh my God, super. That's not going to happen. Okay, this is where it gets unbelievably hard and complicated. And this is something that I don't think is taught to people ever. You can't, what you're looking for after trauma generally is your subconscious, your mind, your heart, your spirit is trying to understand what happened. So once it understands it, it can process it. But if it came from an external force, you can't, basically what I'm saying is, for shadow work, you can't include them in the resolution that you're looking for to get the resolution. So you can't include them in the resolution to get your resolution. It's not going to happen. You're not going to go up to someone that bashed you at high school and be like, hey, remember that time you used to bash me at school? Why did you do that? Because they're going to probably most likely be completely off the hook of having to take any ownership for what they did to you. And they'll be like, no, didn't happen. No, I don't remember that. No, I don't remember you. That's generally how these things go, particularly with parents, particularly with parents. When you come at them with that angle of hey, you did this to me, you said that to me. I can feel some people can feel what I'm saying now. It's you said that to me, you did that to me. I want to show you a mirror and show you the reflection of what you did. I want to record that and play it back to you. They'll be completely in denial of it. Why? Because they don't want to own that part of themselves. They don't want to own what they did to you, because that means they have to get on the hook for it and take accountability for it. They don't want that. They're not looking for that. So now we have a very, very hardcore conundrum. One that I have found myself in all too commonly for the years and years is that what we have to do This is where it gets crazy. Ready? You have to fill in the blanks on their behalf if you can't get them in the resolution. Now, this is where we need therapy, but there'd be no point in going to therapy if the therapist doesn't even understand what I'm talking about right now. All right. So what you have to do is you have to get to a place where you're able to move forward from this. And by the way, for the record, in my opinion, have a sip of the tea. Hope you're liking this video. You can't, for the record, oh my God, there's so much going on in my head. La, 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 cuckoo, going crazy. You can't include them in the resolution to get the resolution, and you have to kind of, you never get over it. I'll say that again. You don't get over things. Whoever came up with this concept where we all just get over stuff, like get over it, like super crazy. It's never going to happen. Okay. It's just not realistic. It's always going to be there. Always. We don't get over it. We just get better at learning to live with it. And here's a key one of shadow work. A big part of my shadow work is accepting what happened to me and finding a way to take my darkness and take the pain and channel that into something beautiful, channel that into something creative. And it's kind of like leaning to the dark side again. Like when we look at like, Star Wars or like Count Dooku. I just love saying that, Dooku. Count Dooku or any of them, the concept of them is that they don't hide their darker emotions. They use their hatred and their anger as strength. They use it as power. They use it as fuel to fight. And that's why I believe the Siths are stronger than the Jedis, because they don't deny what they want. They don't deny who they are. Back to the left-hand path again. I'm not interested in pretending for you or going to someone that can, by the way, going to a priest or someone and telling someone about my sins and they're just going to go, yep, a few Hail Marys, haha, you're all good to go, all done. No one can abstain you or abscond you from shadow work. No one outside of you can do that. Only you can do that. No one can make you feel guilty except you. All right? No one. So if you think someone else outside of you can take away your pain, think again. That's why a lot of this Reiki stuff is all bullshit too. It's very, very difficult to manipulate. Okay, to quickly go off in a little, side tangent with Reiki. You can't manipulate energy inside another being. That is a violation of the natural law of energy. All you can do is manipulate the energy around someone, like a glamour spell. I can't change what it is. I can only distort or change the energies around it from an external place or in an external environment. It's not possible. Not possible. Okay, it doesn't work. Energy doesn't work like that. Magic doesn't work like that. So please get that around your head. No one can take shadow away from you. No one can heal you unless you are healing you. It's like rotting rubbish inside of you. And resentment and pain it rots, it festers inside of you, and it bubbles up inside of you. It stinks. It stinks. When someone doesn't do shadow work, it fucking stinks. It's nasty. And you could go, you can spray some perfume on it or get a fan and blow the air around to try and redirect the smell of the rot, but the rotting rubbish is still there. They have to take out the garbage. We have to take out that garbage. We have to clean up after ourselves. And yeah, sometimes we have to clean up after other people. We do. If the aftermath of it. So going through a lot of destructive relationships and knowing what I don't want, now I know what I do want. And also taking accountability for how I put myself in that vibrational state to begin with. And that's where people start to get mad because I've got to, oh my God, it's always their fault. It's never my fault. Wrong. You're a vibrational match to what you are. You cannot be not what you are. You can have delusion about what you are, but you are what you are. Okay, so what you vibrate at is your energetic vibrational level will only match the vibration of what you are. I know that sounds hardcore. I'm going to put it really bluntly. Ready? Let's get really blunt. When you're in a dysfunctional relationship, the other person has to have dysfunction in them to be a vibrational match to you. Okay? Any of this victim shit with the left-hand path, I can't be fucked with it anymore. Don't even bring that to me. Super boring. Bye. Next. You own what belongs to you. Let's put it this way. If you're in a relationship with someone who treats you like shit, and when you walk through the door, they don't care about you, don't love you, they beat you, they hit you, they put you down, they make you feel like shit, they wear you down, they don't build you up, they're giving you a hard time, they don't help you around the house, you're still there. So what is it about you? What is it about your shadow that would allow someone to treat you like that? You've got to go back in the reverse in the time machine to where your low standards got so fucking low that you would allow someone to treat you this way, that you would allow someone to take your power from you, right? Coming at this from a left-hand perspective, and I'm coming at it with love. I'm being really honest here. We've got to be willing to tell the truth. Same with shadow work. Back to the point I made in my last video is that it is very, very difficult to sustain something and prolong something that is not real. All right. So if it's not real and it wasn't already vibrating at a higher state, then it takes two to tango. You're a vibrational match to that. Or you have to be willing to do the shadow work with them to say, hey, you can't speak to me like that. Hey, I'm not prepared to put up with that. Not speaking your truth is shadow. When you don't speak your truth, you're not honoring yourself. Okay, so that's one thing I want to say really hardcore. If you don't speak your truth, that's not paying tribute and honor to you first. It's always got to be you first. So if I got in a car with someone and they started driving dangerously and started speeding and I didn't say, hey, stop, I feel really uncomfortable, you're going through red light, stop, my fault. I wasn't behind the wheel with my foot behind the pedal, but I could have said something. I could have spoken my truth to say, you're pushing my boundaries. This is my boundary. That's why if I was with a partner and, they were like, passive aggressive with me, and, just like, by the way, I don't do passive aggressive. That's super boring too. I do aggressive. We get it all out on the table and we talk about it. We've got direct communication style. That's how I do my relationships. Yeah. It's how I do business. It's how I do life. So if they, always like, where have you been? What are you doing? I'm like, bye. I'm out the door. So out the door. Because I have a very, very strong free will. Very strong. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I did. I went through it and I've got through the other side of it. It still hurts. It's still there. Pain doesn't go away. There is no point of like where grief ends. There is no point where it ends. It's just us being willing and adult and mature enough to look there and own it and understand and acknowledge something and really just come face to face with it so that you can get to a point of ownership where you can just move forward. When I think of shadow work, I think of the dog and the wolf, in the moon card, in the tarot, in the traditional system, the Rider-Waite-Smith system, the moon card, which is really about the conscious and the unconscious. We've got the crab, the little lobster, it's a crustacean. It comes out of the shell. It's the parts that we hide. It's reflective, the water. The dog, now, okay, this is interesting. The dog represents the part of man that is tamed and must conform, which is the process of socialization. Stand here, say this, do this, look there, don't look there. And then the wolf represents the untamed, the wild part, the part of you that needs to hunt and fuck and kill. And it's the bestial part of the being. So to suppress one and deny the other is unbalanced. So to live in a state of being perfect all the time, like we all know the perfect Stedford wife, like I'm doing my Valley Girl voice, like, oh my God, everything's so beautiful. And I live in this beautiful house and like, oh my God, I have this big pool and everyone loves me. Everything's perfect. My kids are perfect. I have no problems. Like that type of shit. They're the ones that need the most support. Some of them need fucking life support almost. They're so mental. It's crazy. The ones that pretend, that come across like they're perfect and have no shadow work to do are the ones that need to do the most fucking shadow work. All right? And when someone doesn't do shadow work and I meet someone and they're not willing to do, it means they're not willing to upgrade. They're not willing to improve. They're not willing to look at the parts of themselves that need to be worked on. And we all have work to do. No one is exempt from this. We go through phases in our life. Life is full of phases, and we move through those phases with grace and acceptance and understanding, not living like... Anyway, I'll get onto that in a minute. But yeah, the ones that have the perfect life and they're striving so hard to fit in and be perfect is just, it doesn't work out well for them. Now, the point of expansion, like I said before, is really about bringing the unconscious into the conscious. So, I mean, at any stage, I would say, yeah, the best advice I could give you for shadow work for me, and I've found this in my point of view, is that, okay, just centering myself before I say this, you need someone else to help you do it. In my humble opinion, I would say the best way to do it is that you have a relationship with a friend or a family member, maybe, probably not so much family to be fair, probably someone that you just know has your back and they don't have anything to hold over your head and they don't have an ulterior motive. They just want the very best for you, but you have a truthful, and you've got to be so very truthful enough to sit with someone and say, hey, can we just sit down? Can we have a really gentle chat? And you've got to be so gentle with shadow work. So gentle. The aim of this is not to bash or hurt or take a stab at someone. The aim of this would be in a group setting or in a face-to-face setting with a one-on-one. Like this is the type of work that I did with my readings, which I charge people money for this, is that I'm willing to go into a place with you where you are vulnerable, and I'm going to bring up things that I've noticed that you have done or said that didn't correlate, didn't make sense, that need to be brought up into the light so that we can talk about them and integrate them and be gentle enough to, and respectful enough to tell the truth in a loving way. Now, with shadow, it's got to come from love. It can't come from a place of judgment. If you go up to someone and just come at a place of judgment to them, they're going to get their defense system up. Like I said before, if you go to your mum and your dad or whoever did something wrong against you and said, you did this to me, you're coming at it from an angle that's already like, it's not going to correlate well. The vibration is not, it's not a good place. So it's got to come from a place of like, hey, look, I've noticed you have a tendency to talk over the top of me. I sometimes feel that you don't listen to me. I sometimes feel, it could be anything. It could be, I feel that, you violated this boundary for me. It could be that I've noticed you have a tendency to bulldoze people. Whatever it is, it's got to come, and then they'll have their piece, and then you have your piece, and then we hug and we talk it out and we have that direct communication. It's got to come from a place of deep respect. For me, that is the best form of shadow work. And it's tricky because sometimes with the shadow, with the perfect stranger, they just don't know you enough to know, unless you're my way inclined, where I'm extrasensory, so I can see shadow, and I see more shadow in people than I do light, to be fair. Like in today's society, there's way more shadow going on than there is fucking light work. I can tell you that right now. By the way, with light work, a lot of that's all bullshit too. A lot of that's all this like positive focus community where we're all like talking about being positive. Okay, crazy, cuckoo, goo goo, doo doo, mental. All right. So no. So just doing positive focus is avoiding pain. That's why all these affirmation things, it's all just crazy. If you haven't done the shadow work, to really like look in the deeper aspects of yourself, what's in resistance to the light work, you're not going to just move into light work and it's all just be, okay, I'm on my way now. That's not going to work. And also this like meditation stuff, a lot of that is very important. Of course it is, because you're getting into state, you're getting into your body. By the way, the best way to get into, any form of like getting inside of yourself is probably yoga, because it's bringing your body and your breath and you're paying attention to how you're breathing, and you're paying attention to how you're sitting in your body and how your body feeds itself oxygen. That's super important to get, like even going for a swim or a run. Exercise is really good to get into your body or into what I call interstate. But when it comes to meditation and shadow work, the only problem that I have with it is that I feel meditation is more about emptying your mind. Okay, and we don't want to empty your mind. We want to go there. We want to stir it up. We want to bring it up. We're trying to drag it up from the unconscious into the conscious. So, and understand it and hug it. We're not looking to positive focus. We can shift focus and move away from shadow and avoid the shadow and deny and suppress it. That's not what we're doing here. So positive focus usually for shadow work doesn't work. We're not looking at only the parts that we want to see. We want to see the real thing. We want to go there, yeah? And if you don't have someone who's mentally able to go there with you, you should not be attempting shadow work with someone. That's why I wouldn't go to a counselor anymore, because a lot of them don't even fucking know what shadow work is, and they're not at a level of psychological understanding of what I would need from them to help me. Generally, what would happen at this point in my life, if I went to a counselor or a psychologist, I kind of end up becoming the psychologist for them, counseling them on my life. Oh my God. But yeah, but that's kind of how it goes now. Yeah. Okay. So the world that we live in is brutal. It is loving and it is brutal at the same time. Okay. So if you're in a state of the world's wonderful and it's perfect, you're already in a state of disillusionment. That's unworkable. Completely unworkable. You're not fooling anyone but yourself. Bad things happen to everyone. Bad things are happening all around us every day. And by your denying of it, you're actually making it worse for other people, because they can't be authentic with you if you're not being authentic with yourself. Drop mic, boom. All right. So yes, it is what it is. And, also a big part of this as well, and I will say, let's get into the collective consciousness of what shadow is right now in the world. What does the world need to hear? If this was a tarot card, what does it need to hear? I think, okay, let's do a check for time. Okay, all right, shit. Okay, we've gone to 41 minutes. All right, so I think we'll leave it here. I'll have a break. I'll get a drink of water and I'll come back. I hope you're enjoying part one. We'll make this a part one and a part two. So this is part one of what is shadow work. I have just described my definition and my viewpoints on shadow. I know these videos are very, very dense. I know that I talk quickly. Please know that, if you need a break, take a break. If you need to pause it. If you need to go back and re-listen to it, okay? I understand that I do cover a lot of ground really quick. And so I hope that I'm not moving too fast, but yeah, when you open up your crown chakra, it's like, fuck, all this shit just comes straight through for me. So it happens. I can't control it. By the way, I'm sorry if how I talk sounds brutal. It's not my intention to sound brutal. With that Sagittarian thing, I just don't know how to not be raw. I don't know. A lot of my shadow work in myself right now, I'm being vulnerable, is that I had to pretend for other people just to get along, just to fit in. As you get older, you kind of get over that shit anyway. I'm not concerned with fitting in so much, but yeah, not my intention to sound so hardcore. But let me tell you something. If you're in the spiritual world and you are able to channel energy and channel messages from spirit or entities or, I'll say D, don't want to get flagged. I've got to keep these videos PG-13 for YouTube. Is that basically, yeah, when spirit brings a message down through to you, it is going to be unfiltered. Spirit is not interested in giving me a message. It's all filtered for someone else. If anything, I have to filter down what I'm saying right now, or filter what I say to a client to make it more receivable for them. I have to soften it a little bit, because sometimes it can be very brutal what I get in a download, what we call downloading. Spirit comes through, this is a message, bang. And then you're like, okay, gotcha. But I just need to bring it in a nicer, kind of more simple way for this person so that they can understand it. But not that I'm saying that I need to do that for you, because I feel like if you're already listening to my video, you're already kind of on the same path that I'm at. You're already kind of going, yeah, nodding your head, go. I know I'm doing it. Anyway, part 1, let's take a break. I'll see you in part 2.